My name is Yin Na from Rauhut University of Science and Technology. We call it postdoc. And we are at the young university starting 20 years ago as a first research-related university in Korea. And founded by POSCO steel company. I think you saw the name here, and was world's largest steel producer throughout the world. And these sessions particularly we will discuss about reforms of university. Actually, it's going to be the last topic we can discuss when we talk about universities. Maybe how this topic, we can maybe it's impossible things we can do. One thing I like to recall is there's only one truth in the world still remain. It's everything is changing. Although we have realized really everything is changing, particularly university changing is really the most difficult job. I mean, the participants make most of everyone. Okay. Another reason why we're interested in this particular subject is maybe probably due to some specific reasons, particularly in Korea, higher education, particularly universities. I think one of the popular the scholars talk about the moving speed of enterprise in Korea is like 70 miles per hour. So 70 miles is the highest mileage you can drive in the highway, right? I mean, except besides the general autobahn, of course. And the government moves like 40 miles per hour. That's going to be like the moving speed in the local area. How about university? What is the moving speed of university? Well, they talk about 10 miles per hour. How fast they are. If you drive in a car at 10 miles per hour, you guys will be trouble and they will scream, they will kill you actually on the street, right? Anyway. These specific situations, and we really want to reform or change the universities actually. Okay. This is not a joke, this is really the serious things. But what really I like to do one joke. This is a real joke, okay? Don't misunderstand me, but it's a real joke. There are two things never moves in the world. The one is dead person is symmetry. The second one is, I'm sorry to tell you, most of them participants are professors in the universities. I don't know why they say that, but that's what they say. Okay. But we have to change something. We have to know something, particularly this area, this far east area, small country, is still living in the Confucian way. Okay. But in this session, we will discuss how we can find resolutions of this particular subject. Or, we have to hear what kind of experience other people had so far. We have three, talks today, this session. One from Germany, Professor Rauhut. He's the president of Achen University. I think it's not all these technical university in Germany, but it's like rather old. It's 140 years old. Compared to our school, it's really old. Okay. And then second should be the president of IIT Chennai, Madras. Okay. Then right now there are 7 IIT in India. I think they are one of them, and we know the reputations of IIT in India, right? And he will discuss about how he changed the university. And the last talk is be done by Professor Lee from he's the president of APAI, I'm not sure about, but Asia Pacific, something like that. I forgot the name. He's a professor in Korea University. He used to be the Dean of Academic Affairs, and he will tell us how we can reform. I think he has all kinds of experience in the last 4 years. Okay, and let me introduce first speakers, and Professor Rauhut, the president of Achen University, and he will discuss about what is your topic? Please come out and introduce yourself. Let's give him a big hand.
gentlemen, first of all, many thanks for the nice introduction. Well, I'm going to talk about what's University of Technology all about in the future, but let me put it in the following way. One of the key players in the human resource development are universities, because they produce, so to speak, the majority of the key actors in the future. And due to a rapidly changing world, universities have to have new innovations in their university organization, in the academia and all such things. And in order to answer what kind of innovation we should have in the university, we have to answer the simple but very fundamental question. Sorry. What are universities good for? Basically, universities have to serve the society in providing the society with knowledge, new knowledge, with education, with new goods and services in such a way that our generation, as well as future generations, can live in an environment which is fit for human beings. This is an overall view of what our universities are good for. And well, though this is true for all universities, I'm going to concentrate on universities of technology, where I am coming from. And for those universities, there are three action lines. One is student affairs, the second is research, and the third one is technology transfer. And they can't be separated because they, well, have an impact on each other. And for our point of view of my university, there are three main topics in order to fulfill the requirements for achieving the goals I mentioned before. And these main topics are quality, quality, and quality. That means the quality in recruiting and teaching, the quality in research, and the quality in technology transfer. All of those are needed. And I'm going to talk about the different fields, and in all those fields I will give an example of my university, what we have done or what we are going to do in order to keep the pace with the development in the world, in the industry, as well as the academic world. Well, student affairs, it's quite clear in all developed countries now, more and more, for example, students for engineering and science are missing. And so the first step we have to do in the future is to get more students. So the national recruiting is one of the first steps we have to take in the future. And these are the points I'm going to talk about. We have to start at elementary school. Regarding the demographic change in our countries, in Korea especially, and in many parts of the world, we need more of those people who are not acquainted to higher education. And therefore, to get them, we have to start in elementary school, and we do, for example, that we get or gather highly gifted pupils from elementary school to the university every week to get lessons in chemistry and physics and mathematics, do summer schools and so on. And I think this is important for all the developed countries who need more students in their fields. The second is what is done in all the universities, I think, information days, several times a year, to show what a university is all about. For those who are in elementary school, in high school, junior high school, senior high school, we have to show what we are doing. And we do that in a very special form, and I think this is an important step in the future. We don't have to wait people to come to the university, we have to go outside. We have to step outside, and therefore we created a truck. This is a kind of lecture room with internet access, and with tables, removable tables with hands-on experiments. And then we go to different schools, for example, we go to education fairs, we reach out to get the people outside. This is, I think, for all university a need for the future, not to stay and wait for the people to come, we have to go out. And one of the key points to show or to give the people outside a feeling if they are prepared for higher education, we need more in the world self-assessment possibilities, which is now available via internet worldwide. If somebody wants to study in China or in Korea and is living in South America, he or she can see whether he or she is well prepared to follow the kind of studies. Well, but national recruiting is not sufficient. We need to recruit international, and one of the measures to do so is cooperation agreements with foreign universities. I'm just showing here a map of Europe. These are our agreements with European universities where we exchange students, and this is financed by the European Union. And I think we need some financing support from several sources, worldwide sources, so we can have more exchange of students worldwide, because we need the different cultures, not a homogeneous world, but we need the different cultures, and we need the students going abroad and bringing foreign students in their own country. A second point in getting international recruitment for students are higher education fairs. They are more and more popular, and I think every university who is interested in getting international students should attend those fairs. I'm showing here one fair in Korea where we have been to show what is our university all about. You see, all the other big university and well-renowned university of the world are attending those fairs because it's not only sufficient to be good. You have to talk about that you are good and what you are offering. Also, one of the new steps some of the universities take is recruiting offices abroad. Here's one example. For example, we opened an office in Beijing, in China, just to scrutinize Chinese students coming to our university. And I know that many other universities do the same. It's a very important step, because the students can't travel so much in the world, so you have to go out, like in the national field, you have to go out and try to reach the students outside, and you need a place where they can go, and such an office is a good opportunity. One of the good opportunities is also the alumni organization. And for example, one of our strongest alumni organizations is in Korea. And 3 weeks ago we had a meeting here, for example, in Korea with our Korean alumni, and 75 alumni showed up, and I think this is a very good thing American universities did for a long time, to use the alumni organization to recruit students abroad, because the alumni know best what kind of students are needed at the university or good for the university they were educated. And for those countries where the language is not English as the mother tongue, we need really English-taught programs. In some small countries in Europe, for example, they have changed totally. For example, giving the bachelor program in their native language, like Denmark and Netherlands, and the master programs in English. And many of other universities worldwide are now changing at least the master programs, not to speak about PhD, that's quite clear. Research is now mostly done in English, but the master programs changed into English, and this is necessary in order to recruit students from abroad. Well, but recruiting is one point, teaching is the other one, and there are needs for the future for students, especially in engineering and science. And one of the main points is what MIT started, I think, 20 years ago, the Europe Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program, to bring students from different disciplines together in the very early stage as freshmen or sophomores in order to build teams and do some kind of research during the first semesters. And this is a very good program to make for engineering students quite clear that they need the other disciplines and how to work in teams and to motivate them for the special theoretic disciplines they need in their studies. Integrating soft skills is one of the things which is needed. It is asked by the industry, but we know by ourselves it's not the right way only to learn within your discipline. You need some more skills like presentation skills or team building and leadership and things like that. And this should be in the curricula in the future more than it is right now. We have such programs like Fit for Teaching or Fit for Research for our young, for example, teaching assistants for the master students, just to make clear how to teach, how to get funded, how to organize research, how to find out what's a good field of research in the future and so on. This should be part of the curriculum. The international experience is very important in teaching. There are different kinds of international cooperation. On the left side, for example, you can see some kind of double degree program we have with Tsinghua University in Beijing, where the students stay in the master program 1 year in the foreign countries and 1 year at home, on both sides, vice versa. And I think this is for all universities in the world a very good thing to bring students to some experience in foreign countries. Or the other kind of international experience is just to form a new branch of your own university. We did this in Bangkok with the Thai-German Graduate School of Engineering. It's part of the King Burkhard Institute of Technology in North Bangkok. It's a faculty there, so that we have some kind of flying faculty, flying students, so they get international experience. The cooperation with industry, we all know that's important. We don't have to follow industry because we don't know what is industry. Is industry big company or is industry small and medium-sized company? What is industry? And they all have different needs. Therefore, we have to have some experience for the students in industry, but not follow one by one to the needs of industry. And therefore, important for teaching for students is internships, project-based master's thesis and project-based PhD thesis, which is done in many cases. Just they get some idea what industry needs, and the industry, on the other hand, gets some solutions by the students. The second part is research, and research is very closely related to teaching, you all know. That's the old Humboldt idea. A good teaching is only based on the good research. Only when you are in research on the state of the art, then you can teach in a proper way. Therefore, research is a very important point for universities in the future more than now. And just to remark one point, not only looking for professors which are highly gifted from all over the world, in universities of technology, in engineering, for example, we hire 60 to 80% of the professors from industry. So they have some industrial experience, not as industrialists as such, but in the research and development department of the companies. So they know what they need, and they have very close relations to industry. Just to give one example, one of my vice rectors, he got his PhD from a different university. Then he was 8 years with Mercedes-Benz, 8 years with BMW, and after 16 years, we hired him as a professor for automotive engineering. And he's one of the most successful professors in that field worldwide. This is one of the points. We can link industry together with universities, and the students get access to the knowledge of the industry. Fostering interdisciplinarity, we all know that this is one of the crucial points in the future, and many of the universities just started to have some matrix organization. We started more than 20 years ago with this, what we call forums. The professors are, on the one hand, in the faculties or schools, and on the other hand, in different forums, and these are numbered to different fields where they're interested in. And for universities of technology is, for example, the first forum, Technology and Society, a very important one. You can develop technology, but the society have to follow you, otherwise you will not succeed. An important point are strategic alliances. In the future, you will have, and you still have now, you already have now different levels of universities, and you have to look for partners at the same level. We did this, for example, in Germany with what you call TU9. These are the leading technical universities in Germany. We did that in Europe with the so-called IDEA League. We started 8 years ago with a very strong alliance between these 5 universities, ETH Zurich, Imperial College, Delft, from every country only 1 university. And you see in other countries it's the same. For example, in Australia they formed a group of 8, the leading research universities in Australia. And there is a need for building such alliances between universities. And I think the most important point to wrap this up are the internal governance principles. That's first competition and selection. We have to have more competition within the university and then select the best ideas. We have to rely on the good ideas, and the competition and selection is one of it. Flexible funding. We need more, so to speak, free money to be flexible in funding internally. Creative unrest means not all the structures in university have to be forever. They are for some time and then they have to be changed. Exploiting synergies, it's quite clear. If you ask your university what's done in different departments and colleges, then you see many of these do almost the same, but they don't know from each other. One of the points, for example, is computational engineering science. It's developed in different colleges, but if you bundle this together, it's an advantage for the whole university. And fostering cooperation, we just talked about. Technology transfer is the third part I'm going to talk about. Cooperation with industry in research is quite clear for a university of technology. You have to work in project because you need, on the one hand, the idea, what's going on in the future, and on the other hand, you need the funding. Projects, endowed shares. More and more the industry is paying for professors at the universities, and I think we should have more of those professors. And one of the specialty in Germany we have are honorary professors. So we get people from industry to give lectures at the universities. And you know, in Germany the title professor is very highly ranked. So they are really eager to get the title. So they give lectures without any payment. They are not paid, but after 5 years they can get the title professor. So we get a lot of people and a lot of support from outside, and we get the impact from industry in the university. They can tell the students what's going on in industry, and this is a very good help. On the other hand, the cooperation with industry should be formalized in some cases. For example, Siemens has done it with several universities, and you see Siemens is almost everywhere. They form centers for knowledge interchange, where they have some kind of ambassador at the university, organizing workshops and things like that between the university and the company. And this is the same is true with what is called ZNB, that is Center for Metallic Construction, where the industry paid for a big kind of building, where together with industry it is some research and some education what could be done with metallic, with steel, with iron, with other aluminum and so on. So working closely together there. What we need more and more is incentives for spin-offs. I think the good ideas should be exploited very close to the universities. Therefore, spin-offs are one of the best methods to do so. At our university, we have between 20 and 30 spin-offs every year, and we have to support them. And there are some elements. Mobilization, just tell the PhD at the university that's not only good to be in a good company, in a big company, running their own business with their own ideas is very, very good. Then train those people, and at the end you have to coach them. And we do that by keeping them for half salary at the university for some time or things like that, just to make sure that they have success. The coordination is done by several teams. Well, incubators, more and more universities have incubators. We were the first in Germany in '82 to have the first incubator. Now we have 13 around the university to facilitate the spin-offs, for example, and people coming from other parts who want to cooperate in small parts with the university. And there are special groups, for example, this Achen Corporation for Innovation and Technology Transfer. It was built in '82 in a very early stage, and it's very successful. But, and this is an important point, in the old days we asked the big companies, what are engineers all about, what should they be? And they gave us some answers. But 80% of our engineers, and I think that's true in most parts of the world, are employed in small and medium-sized enterprises. So the answers of the big companies are not the whole truth. We have to ask what need small and medium-sized enterprises. And in order to support them, 20 years ago we started an experimental database for small and medium enterprises where they can look for help at the university. They can look, they can search in different fields for names, for projects, for problems, for materials or whatever. And this is a very good idea, and we will expand this in over whole Europe, just to make clear that small and medium enterprises have some help from the university. But the newest idea is just to bring closer together on a campus, on our own campus, industry and university, to bring them together at the same lab, to work together on a basic which has some benefit for both sides. Not do the research for the industry, but doing research together. And doing this, we ask our big institutes to find partners, big partners, at least 2 of them, who build their own buildings on campus and then work together on campus to have some good future. Wrapping up this all, I can describe it the following way. Our university right now looks like this: a big engineering and some other disciplines, and the dotted line means we are not really streamlined in our organizational structure. Therefore, we defined a future concept 2020 with 4 main measures. The first is sharpening the scientific profile in enhancing, for example, the basic research in science and natural sciences, in combining the faculties closely together. The second measure is the cooperation with Jülich Research Center, which is only 30 kilometers, is one of the biggest research centers in Europe. Closing special section where we both are very strong. The third part is mobilizing people from the very beginning, from the kindergarten up to alumni. Fourth is corporate governance. And what we try to reach with this, that our university looks like that, engineering much better than before, all the other disciplines better, and the intersection is bigger than it is right now. We were successful, and this is my last remark, and I'm very proud of that. Last week we had a competition in Germany, what are the best universities there, and with this concept we are now selected between the 9 best universities in Germany, and I think this is one of the concepts we need for the future of engineering universities. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Rauhut. And I mean, we're going to discuss it later, okay? But if you have any specific questions, very short questions, you may ask right away. If you don't, I can proceed, and at the end of the speech, at the end of the talk, and then we can discuss together. Okay, please. Could you use microphone? Any microphones there? Yeah. And please identify yourself, okay?
Well, thank you. My name is Ananth from Rauhut University. I'm just wondering if the German government is playing any action or is trying to put any influence in education policy of the universities in Germany, like as in recruiting, the way they recruit the new students.
Well, we have a lot of freedom right now in Germany with respect to the government, except the one point, we are not allowed to select our students. Every student who passed the high school has the right to be enrolled at the universities. This is going back to some judgment of our highest court in '73, but we are going to change it within the next years.
Okay, I think it's going to be very lengthy discussions. Okay, anyway, I think let's proceed. Second questions, and thank you very much again, Professor Rauhut. Give him another big hand. Thank you very much. Our second talk should be the speaker should be the Professor Ananth from the IIT here, Madras, actually Chennai. I'm happy to introduce another chemical engineer and discuss about innovation and university. Please come up.
Chairman, I'm indeed delighted to be here. I want to talk specifically about innovation, as the word itself implies, in the university context. And the outline of my talk is like this. I'm going to talk about why is innovation very important in the current context. And there is a paradigm called the triple helix paradigm. I will narrate the paradigm. I don't quite agree with it fully, so I'll tell you where I disagree. Then managing innovation. Then I talk about the entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem in IIT Madras, in my institute. Tell you some success stories and some concerns. Basically, the world has changed. It's a multipolar world. After the Soviet Union disappeared, the US became a dominant power. But increasingly, the US is not the only dominant power. There is the European Union, Japan, South Africa, then Brazil, Russia, India, and China. Counted in everywhere. And others, the whole world is becoming multipolar. The Indian economy is growing at 9%, manufacturing is growing at 13%. Competitiveness is the key to continued growth. India is said to be the third largest economy with the best demographic distribution in 2035. Then the key assets of the economy are knowledge and knowledge-based products and services. And innovation is at the foundation of entrepreneurship, which is central to economic growth and competitiveness. So innovation is going to be very important. In fact, the US has survived to a large extent because of innovation. The triple helix paradigm is the paradigm that's often quoted. If you go to Google and put triple helix paradigm, you would get, I think, 100,000 entries. But basically it has three aspects to it. First is innovation. It says innovation is a non-linear system integration and networking process. It cannot be done by scientific push or a social pull. It has to do with a systematic process. But I will describe that in two parts. Then competitive success depends on localized concentrations of skilled people and technology. The Silicon Valley in California has demonstrated this very dramatically, and so have companies in Korea. Then universities should be, the third part of the paradigm is universities should be direct contributors to wealth creation. I don't quite agree with that paradigm. I think universities are at best indirect contributors to wealth. But let me discuss innovation. Innovation is of two kinds. The first kind is it's managed by two ways. The first kind is managed by what is called the magic garden approach. In the magic garden approach, what you do is hire very bright people, provide the atmosphere, and leave them alone, by and large, and then pray, because some of them may never produce anything, but some of them will produce such dramatically good results that they will influence the future of the world considerably. The second kind is the kind that industry uses, innovation by bringing unlike minds together and to create opportunities for interaction. I'll talk a little bit about this because this is what you can do something about, which is what the industry has been practicing. I want to quote Louis Pasteur in this context. Actually, it's out of context. He said essentially, discovery results from chance meeting a prepared mind. In the IITs, we've been preparing minds for many, many years, but chance has been meeting them in Silicon Valley. So a lot of our students have been producing remarkable results in the US, and the IPR, the intellectual property rights, go to the US. Usually there is one Indian name attached to it, but the intellectual property doesn't belong to India. So we are now saying that we have to create these opportunities in India so that all the inventions occur in India and we get a share of the intellectual property right. We'll just talk about IIT Madras and the innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem that we have. We have two kinds. One is, as I said, the academic programs. We always have a formal way of discussing things. So we have an academic program, we have an MS program, a master's program in entrepreneurship. We also have courses for all students on entrepreneurship. We have a minor stream in the engineering major streams. We have a set of courses called the minor stream, which is different from your major stream. And one of the minor streams is about entrepreneurship. Then the second aspect of this, I will talk a little bit about academic program. The second aspect is bringing unlike minds together. There are four ways essentially of doing this. We have a research park that we are building. Many US universities already have a research park. And even Europe, all the universities have research parks. But we are entering the arena late, but we hope to create these research parks around good universities. I'll say a few words about that. And then student-centered activities. We have several programs. I'll tell you what the expansion is, but this is about students coming up with business plans that are sometimes picked up by the industry. Because students have the advantage of being ignorant of the real world, so they sometimes come up with very imaginative ideas that normally a professor would, because of his burden of learning, reject right at the beginning. Then the government initiatives, we have several government initiatives to support entrepreneurs, so I'll say a few words about some of them. And finally, we have interdisciplinary initiatives. We all know that interdisciplinarity is the key to innovation. You have to bring people from different disciplines together. We have one particularly successful group. I'll talk a little bit about that. And we have two other initiatives. I'll say a few words about that. As far as academic programs are concerned, we have a unique program called Master of Science in Entrepreneurship. It's a research-based program. It produces young, successful entrepreneurs. In fact, our success, if I may tell you, is almost 60%. 60% of people who have gone through the program have been very successful entrepreneurs. What I haven't told you is that the numbers are very small. Over the last 25 years, we have had only 35 students in this program. These are students who come up with initiative and we take them through a program. We have a minor stream in entrepreneurship for all students. Many students take this minor stream, and we have a course called Introduction to Entrepreneurship in elective. This is the program. I think I'll skip this because it just gives you what kind of program it is. The important thing is, at the end of 4 semesters, if a student has a business plan and he presents it successfully, then he goes on to 1 more year and he gets an MS degree. But otherwise, he gets a certificate at that stage. At the end of 2 years, he'll get a certificate. And if he doesn't pass the Viva OC, he presents a business plan, it has to be approved. So industry-university interaction is an old thing. All of us think it's important. We have interaction with the industry. Industry is the source of most interesting questions. In fact, in academia, we often say tongue-in-cheek, we tell the industry, we have all the answers, you're not asking us the right questions. If you only ask us the right questions, we'll give you the answers. The second is, it's a reality check on education. Helping advance technological industrial development of the country is a duty of the universities. Conversion of knowledge into commercial assets through IPR is the only way to ensure economic growth in the face of global competition. An effective way is to capitalize knowledge through research parks. So I'll tell you a few words about the research park. Entrepreneurship is now known to flourish in the vicinity of high-quality educational institutions. Again, the key theme is bringing unlike minds together. Look at the unlike minds in this case. We bring faculty together with industrial R&D personnel and students. Faculty have advanced theoretical knowledge. The industry R&D personnel convert ideas into marketable products, and students have the spirit to conquer the world and are ignorant of the impossible. So this combination often produces ideas. We've seen this dramatically in Stanford, MIT, North Carolina, South Florida, for example. Till 10 years ago, nobody would go to South Florida. It was not a good university to go to. But now in biotechnology, it's a very good university since they started the bio research park. In IIT Madras Research Park, the state government has given us land right next to the IIT. The central government has allowed us to form a Section 25 company, which is a non-profit company, but which I control. And we have low rentals, but long-term lease of space, we have 85% for R&D and 15% for startups. The park will offer various concessions. But the important thing is that they have to have very high R&D interaction with IIT. This can be quantified in terms of credits. We are professors, we know how to keep students in school. If they don't perform, we throw them out. So we have agreed to throw the industry out of the park if they don't perform. And we have criteria for their performance. We discussed this with the industry, with many CEOs. They have agreed. For example, they have to give us part-time faculty to come and give 1 or 2 lectures in every course to say where the applications are. They will come as research scholars, they will come into MS and PhD, they will do joint R&D work with us. We have part-time employment for our students in the park. Alumni will take positions in the park. We have sharing of facilities between IIT and the research park, and they will also provide support for venture funds. That is, if our students have ideas, they can start, and the industry providing support will get some points. If they make up a certain number of points, they can continue to stay there. Otherwise, at every 6 months, we'll review the process and throw them out if they don't perform well enough. This is the part. The first part of it will be ready by July. The other 2 will be ready in another year's time. Then the second set of innovation activities. Research park is the most important concept in terms of innovation, intense interaction and innovation by idea generation. We have, of course, some professors who are extraordinarily good, and we are willing to just give them the facilities and pray that they produce something remarkable. So that's the magic garden approach. Now coming back to student-centered activities, we have a student cell for technology, innovation, development and entrepreneurship support. Mainly brainstorming among students, guided by some faculty and some alumni entrepreneurs. We have workshops by successful entrepreneurs who have already created this thing. They come and talk and they say how one goes about the process of creating wealth. Then we have annual competitions. This breakthrough and genesis are the names of these competitions, and some wonderful ideas have come out of these. They've been supported by alumni. We've created companies that have done good wealth creation. Then we have Indus is again an alumni network of entrepreneurs, and we have a partnership with them by which they support startup companies by students. Then programs by government agencies, we publicize these programs. There's a lot of support, financial support schemes of the Government of India. So the next is interdisciplinary R&D. This is important. For example, we have an interdisciplinary group called the Tenet Group. I mentioned that because it's the most successful group. It's in telecommunications area. The idea is to build products in telecom and networking, addressing India's market needs. So first you have to do a survey of the Indian market, and that's been done. And the vision is to build world-class technology at an affordable price. This has been done. Incubation and R&D support has been given to 15 companies. This is only 10 years old, and already one of the companies has crossed the 10 million mark. We are getting royalties from that. And this is some of the products of the Tenet Group, I'm sorry. If you look at they have innovative product design of wireless technology. This is actually being sold in Brazil and China as well. And we have promising innovations to reach the market. For example, the rural ATMs. They have been at 1/10 of the price of any ATM that's made all over the world. They are found to be as good, if not better, than most of them. So we have a rural internet service. We have a problem of reach of education as well. So we have created kiosks in various villages where there is a young girl in charge of the kiosk, and she has become more important than the village headman because she has all the information at her fingertips about everything, about even if you have a problem with a crop. In one case there was a problem with a crop, and she sent an email to an agricultural university. They sent back the solution by email, and the crop was saved. So she has now become more popular. We have social problems because she is more important than the headman. When people assemble, the headman is not given as much importance as this young girl. So some success stories. We have global entrepreneurs, several alumni. Not, unfortunately, all these success stories are of alumni who are not trained through our entrepreneurship program. So this is one of the problems of the university. You can't always pick the best people. You pick the best people, but entrepreneurship has many components in it. You have to hit the right market at the right place with the right product, and it doesn't always happen to trained entrepreneurs. So we have several companies, and I've given you some names of people who did take the MS entrepreneurship program who were very successful. But let me share some concerns in this context. Everybody talks about university-industry interaction and the industry telling us what to do. We had a review committee by the industry once, and I asked the chairman of the committee, if a committee of academicians visited your industry and advised you, how much of that advice would you take? He smiled and said 1%. I think that gives me the answer for the university as well. I think if the industry gives me advice, I will receive it with open mind, but you must realize that the university is different from the industry. I must say, first of all, education is about the art of living gracefully with ignorance. I think this is a very important philosophical point. The purpose of a university is to seek enlightenment of the soul, is to seek how one can live in a civilized manner with partial knowledge. I've said ignorance here. Then secondly, freedom to confess one's ignorance is a right and a privilege in the university. The idea is that only a professor can go up on stage and say, I don't know this, and so on. The CEO cannot, by his very nature, confess to ignorance. He's running a company. He has to tell people how to do things. Then marching relentlessly towards truth with no hope of actually reaching it. That is the duty of the university. You seek the truth, you know you will never actually find the whole truth, but you will relentlessly pursue your goals. University searches for unity in knowledge. Remember, the industry thrives on differences. Both have a justification, but one cannot replace the other. Finally, introducing incentives is the last gasp of an educational institution in trouble. If you put in monetary incentives in a university, you will often ruin the clean methods of knowledge search. Finally, focus on intellectual property rights can corporatize a university, and this is not a good thing. The university has its role in place. It will dilute the role of the university as the neutral conscience keeper of society. Eventually, society needs a conscience keeper, and only universities can play that role, because all corporates will be perceived as having their vested interests. And they do, because they have a bottom line to cater to. So they have a justification for their existence, but the universities have an equal justification. Corporate technique cannot be used to judge a university. I think I want to close with that concern. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ananth. And any specific questions and comment on this particular subject? We talk about the industrial cooperations with the university, particularly IIT. This IIT is actually supported and founded by Germany, right?
Yes, German assistance.
Western assistance, right. I mean, it's really German connections going on here. Any specific question? Okay. Let's give you another big hand. Thank you very much for that. Our last talk will be delivered by Professor Doo-Hee from Korea University. He's professor at Korea University as well as the president of the Asian Pacific Association for International Education. And he graduated from Korea University as well as Wisconsin, Liverpool, in the area of management, and the master's in medicine in Wisconsin, and then PhD in the marketing in the Michigan State. And he'd been here at Korea University since 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. He used to be the Dean of Academic Affairs, and he was one of the front runners to inaugurate Korea University under the famous President Burkhard. Okay, let's welcome Professor Lee. Talk about we'll discuss some update in higher education in the Asian Pacific region presented by APAIE. I think we better learn about how they changed the Korea University instead of these things. Anyway, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. That's very good, kind of you. Well, I'd like to talk about APAIE today, and particularly its roles in Asia-Pacific higher education. I'm going to talk about 4 different issues. One is the current issues of international education in Asia-Pacific, and the need for APAIE launch, and the APAIE's past and future, and some suggestions for higher education institutions in Asia-Pacific region. Well, if you look at universities in Asia-Pacific region, there are so many different issues going on, but To me, I can summarize it into three different big areas. One is human resource issues, and second, information issues, and thirdly, mobility issues. So if you look at human resource issues, I think we are lack of global citizens in Asia. Mostly we educated domestic people, domestic leaders, particularly in Korea and also some other countries as well. But we need from now the global citizens who are internationally minded and equipped with communication skills and understanding of multi-cultures and experiences, and obviously new knowledge and specialty. So our institutions must prepare and must change our whole system of curricula to educate new global citizens in Asia. Okay, and then if you look at the most universities in Asia, personnel. If you run international office in your university, if you look at them, they are not specialized people, mostly. As you know that in most Asian universities, we change the people's position maybe every 3 to 5 years to different departments and so on. So that they can be very much generalized. However, they never can be a specialized person. So particularly specialized personnel is very important in international area, because international things are mostly network oriented and personally connecting people. So that's not only for Korean universities problem, but if you look at the Japanese universities, it's almost the same. So I think this is one biggest problem to solve, to be solved by the Asian universities. Second issue is information issues. We are short of the information on Asia-Pacific region higher education institutions. Most people think that Asia is one compared to Europe or America. But if you look at more detail, Asia is a much bigger continent, and with different languages, different cultures, and different economic status and political instability and so on. I heard that from President India. In India already there are about 26 different languages. You said that's right? Yeah. Okay, so this is Asia. That means we are having pretty much very difficulties in internationalized Asian universities. And the mobility issue is the third one. If you look at this chart, the blue one is Asia. That means we dominate of sending students to different continents. Are we proud of it? Yes, but not sometimes. If you send this many, it's okay, but we need to receive this many. But that's not the truth. Well, if you look at the number, that's 48%, 9% of students are sent by Asian region. So if you look at the destination and origin, there are big imbalance between the regions. One, if you look at the US, UK, Germany, France are the most receiving countries. Australia and New Zealand they are the two new ones to receive, ready to receive the students. Particularly New Zealand has a government policy. It's like an industry to receive foreign students. Well, China, India, Korea, and Japan are very specialized in sending students, not the receiving. So if you, as you can see, there is a great imbalance between the region. Another numbers like this, from Africa to Asia, Europe is 23, and so on and so on. In Asia Pacific, in mobility, if you look at student mobility, we do not have many interactions because, first of all, we never have enough respect each other. And I think most of us do not know what universities are good universities in Malaysia, Indonesia, and Philippines, and so on. They do not have any idea either in Korea. Why? Because we don't respect each other. I think this is a big problem. So, and also, therefore, we do not have many or enough exchange programs among Asian universities. And also, although we have such needs, we never act. We say always, sometimes we meet president each other in some reception places, and they say each other, well, let's do something good. It never happens. That's what's going on in Asia. Well, so in order to fulfill the needs and to figure out the problems, I looked at the whole reason, and then I established API. API is to facilitate the exchanges and to make collaborations and to make a network of Asian universities and Asian Pacific universities. And also, if you look at the North American region, there is an association called NAFSA, which is about 60 years old, and where about 7,000 people gathered. And in Europe, there is EAIE, which has about 25-year history, and about you can meet about 2,500 people there every year. We never had that kind of venue in Asia. So API was born to give the venue for the university people meet together. So this organization was initiated by, happily by me, fortunately, and then in 2004 we had a founding committee, and we formed it. In 2006 we formally established. The objective is to bring together all the people to share, communicate information, and so on. And also to facilitate exchange, mobility, students, and so on. And also we provide a channel for benchmarking each other. And the API also can recommend good practices to university members. And also to represent all institutions very effectively. So the API is a member-oriented organization. The member can be institutional member or individual member. And in the conference, this conference became a nexus for linking vertically and horizontally from government high officials like ministers and directors and presidents and specialists and staffs. And also this is for Asia Pacific and other parts of the world, and also at the same time, as I said, universities among Asia Pacific region. So this is a very unique association in the world right now. And the first conference was held at Korea University 2006 March. And at that time, we had about 400 participants from 145 institutions of 26 different countries. At that time, we had a keynote speaker from the the Deputy Minister of Education and some presidents of universities. And we had a pre-conference workshop on keeping up on China. So we spent whole day to learn Chinese higher education system and current problems in the future. We had obviously many panel discussions, and we had a venue for networking. The second conference was held in National University of Singapore this year, March. Here we had about 476 people from 40 different countries from 282 institutions. And we analyzed the participants, and if you look at the pie chart, the Asian countries are about 51%, and the rest, 49%, are from Europe and United States, even Africa and Mexico. At that time, we had 8 university presidents, including President Ananth, and we had 1 minister from Pakistan. And also there were 15 other presidents of higher education associations from the world. And the conference theme was Asia Pacific Renaissance of Higher Education. And we had a pre-conference workshop on India. So there was a good presentation and discussions on Indian higher education. And also, obviously, we had panel discussions. One track was on policy, and the other track was on special issues. And this conference it went well with good cultural events also. By the way, the bottom right-hand side picture is for the university president who attended the conference. The third conference is going to be held in Waseda University next year, March. This person is President Shirai from Waseda University. And in the conference, we're going to share the latest trends in Asia information and channel for networking and so on. And we're going to have a university president roundtable, and also we are going to have joint work with Japan Association, which is JAFSA, because they're going to celebrate 40th anniversary together. So, and also Waseda University is trying to invite the Prime Minister or Minister of Foreign Affairs at that time, and we are going to work with other international associations altogether. So these are the topics, and if you are interested in it, maybe you can look at our website. There's many detailed information. Well, so with the current issues and the problems, HEI was born to cure somehow a little bit on the issues. And while I was running this organization for the last 2 years, and I'd like to propose a few things here. Well, for the human resource issues, I'd like to propose that the higher education institutions must be internationalized. Well, this is for sure. However, how is very difficult and different each universities. The curriculum must be internationalized. The faculty and staff, system, environment, these must be all internationalized. And second, I'd like to propose a staff exchange program, because unless staffs are internationalized, the university never can be internationalized. So we can exchange our staffs each other within Asian universities. And also we can benchmark mutual systems each other. HEI can be a medium to connect different universities. Also, since the international personnel are not well specialized, HEI can provide training workshops in cooperation with EAIE and NAFSA from United States. And also for Information issues, I can propose a couple of things. One, I'd like to propose a comprehensive research project to understand higher education system in each country in Asia, so that we need to know what's going on in whole Asian universities. Otherwise, we will be lost in the new sea of internationalizing universities. So I think this must be done soon. And second is that the workshop on country-specific workshop can be done. HEI is providing that particular things, and as I said, one is the first year we did the Chinese system, and second we did the Indian system, and next year we're going to do on Japan higher education system. We're going to spend a whole day to talk about Japanese higher education and the problems and issues. And lastly, for mobility issues, as I said, we do not have good mobility or exchange programs among Asian universities. So I'd like to propose here, maybe I can call one community program in Asia Pacific. That means we can exchange our students multi to multi. That means if you join this system, you can exchange whole different universities altogether, which has been very successful in Europe for the last 20 years, which is called Erasmus program. So maybe we can run a program like Asia Pacific style of Erasmus program, so that Asia Pacific University can work together very easily. And second, obviously we need to encourage more active bilateral agreement. Thirdly, we can develop a quite new model of collaboration, which can be called consortium collaborations. For example, there is I'm sorry, this is wrong, SQ program, which is signed about 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago actually. I initiated this program with Korea University in Seoul, Shanghai Fudan University, Shanghai and National University of Singapore. So that three universities got together, signed on one agreement that the three universities will work as one unity to run such area. For example, they're going to have Asian MBA program, so that each university selects the students each country, and they send the students to different countries, and they run, the students can study in Korea, Shanghai, and Singapore all together. So that that Asian MBA program can produce Asian specialists. Why do we do it? Well, Fudan University, Singapore National University has got good universities in each nation. However, they are not as good as Harvard University in the world. So, as together, as one group, if we work together just like this, particularly if we specialize in Asian businesses, and then sometime later we can become the best in the world in the MBA program, particularly in the Asian business specialist area. So this is our vision at that time when we started. So maybe other universities can benchmark this program so that you can have different consortium models. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Lee. And any specific questions to Professor Lee? Or any specific questions? Comment we can do later. Okay, let's give thank you very much, Professor Lee, again. Thank you. Now, we just finished the talk, actually, and Professor Rauhut discussed three important areas: university, student affairs, and how they recruit Korean students to Achen University. It's not a good sign, but anyway they did, and how good they are in the area of research, and I'm sure they're good. I mean, they're doing good. And finally, we talk about technology transfers. It's one of the important area, particularly in the science and engineering school. And I'm sure you know very well that recently the Achen got some of the support from Korea. The Mobam Institute was found in Achen. I think Mobam is one of the famous Korean pharmaceutical company, and they built their own institute in Achen. How they did very well actually. Congratulations. I think he's actually graduated of Achen University, right? It's good. And Professor Ananth, IIT, and he talked about also industrial corporations. And I'm sure his IIT is doing great, and one of the best universities in India. And we always want to have IIT graduate in our university, but they never comes. We usually go to the States, and it's a good school. And finally, Professor Lee from Korea University, and talk about actually propagating the API and why do we need that, and trying to educate students to meet future demand in these global ages. But still, we have a lot of problems and how we can resolve those things. Now it's time to discussions and comments, and I think we need some of comments from us. Any questions and comments from us? Please, feel free to do it. If you have any, I'm sorry to tell you, if you have any problem to speak English, and you can say Korean, and we are interpreting outside. I mean, there, and she can interpret immediately. You can use Korean also, and they can hear English. It's not a problem at all. Please. Any questions and comment to their speech or their talks? You can ask them in Korean. Please raise your hand. Okay, person? Microphone. And please let us know your affiliations. Okay.
I am president of Rauhut University. My name is Doo-Hee. I would like to ask a question to Dr. Doo-Hee about API. The founding idea of API is very impressive, and I totally agree with that idea. And I would like to ask that there is any qualification or condition for universities to participate in that organization?
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much. Actually, there is no limitation unless you have interest in higher education in Asia Pacific. So any universities can become the member university, and also any individuals can become individual members in this organization. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, comment? You can ask, you can ask anything. Okay. You may ask. One of the professors there is asking about government regulations. You can ask him. You can ask them about 3 no's. Of course, we can. Okay, please.
My name is Professor University, Chennai province. I would like to ask a question to President Rauhut. First of all, thank you for your wonderful presentation. I got several inspiration from your speech. What I want to know more is that in the aspects of technology transfer, you said university is better to support for small and medium enterprises rather than large enterprises, since it's hard to believe what large enterprises says. So, would you please explain in detail about that?
Well, thank you very much for this question. I'm very happy to explain this a little bit more in detail, because, well, we do listen to the big companies because they are the big global players, and so we have to educate our students in a way that they are able to act in a global environment. That's quite clear. But as I said, 80% of our students go to small and medium-sized enterprises, so we have to educate our engineers also so that they are able to act in this environment. So, for example, to be the only engineer in a small or medium company, and this is different to be in a large group or a research center of a big company. And this is the problem for any universities in the world. We have to educate our people so that they are able to function in a very broad variety of possibilities. Small, medium, large, national, international, and therefore this is the real art to make a curriculum proper for the education for these. We ask, as I said, large companies as well as small companies, and the outcome is that, for example, that they need more soft skills, for example. If they are the only engineers, they have to communicate with the marketing people in the company, they have to communicate with the owner of the company, and so on. And therefore, it's very important, for example, in Germany, in our university especially, for example, that they have internships at least half a year, and 8 weeks before starting, for example, their career at the university, to be familiar with those different kind of culture in the companies. And they have to go either to, or no, both to small companies and to big companies in the internships, just to make clear what they expect in the future.
Could you let us know what this is really by technology transfer? Achen really making money? What is the impact of the technology transfer to your university?
Well, the technology transfer is not to making money. That's, I think, for sure. Even if you have a patent portfolio after some while, it takes 10 to 20 years. That's the experience worldwide. But I think we have to serve the society by exploiting our discoveries and inventions by very fast technology transfer. If you are lucky, for example, with the MP3 player, then you can really get money, or just as this year's Nobel laureate, Professor Grünberg from Jülich, who had the patent. Jülich now gets a lot of money out of this kind of patent. But on the other hand, I think without any money-minded experience behind that, we have to serve the society, and what we find out, we are paid by the community, by the society, so we have to pay back what we find out.
I mean, any kind of royalty portion in your project?
Well, there are some royalties, but we spend more than we get back now, because we started with patents and things like that only 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, when the law was changed in Germany. Just to explain that, up to 2002, every discovery was owned by the professors. The university had nothing to do with that. It was changed in 2002. It's similar to the Bay-Boyle law in the US. Bay-Boyle Act in 1990 in America. It was the same. So we have to wait until it's working.
Okay. Professor Ananth, you have some royalties in IIT?
We do, but this is a matter of luck. It so happens that from some of the companies that we have incubated, we have received royalty. This year we got about 50 million.
To be $50 million
rupees. This is 50 million rupees in Indian currency, but we should get another 2 installments this year. But it's a matter of luck. There is a book by Jennifer Evans on the US, it says University Incorporated. It is about corporate influence on US universities. that has led to a lot of spending on patenting, but not much money coming back. In many cases, universities have spent more money than they have earned. So I think we have to be careful on this intellectual property issue and on patenting. Universities have to be particularly careful.
I think they are living in a beautiful country. We are, our company, our enterprise really push us to develop something tangible technology. Don't really just patentable technology. They like to have really tangible and sellable technology which can make money. That's what they, push us, and that's what we're supposed to do.
That's proper for the industry to do, but the university has its own obligations.
Okay. I think they are living in a beautiful country though. Any questions, comments?
Well, just to add something to that, universities do get money from industry for their technology transfer. Well, if you have a common project, there's an overhead. And then, for example, you can use it for new buildings and things like that. But this is a different kind of getting money instead of royalties. Royalties, you have to look for a gold nugget. And maybe you have to wait for a long time. Yes.
But the United States got about, MIT got about 4% of royalty out of their budget. It's not that many, but still, the circumstance of Korea is slightly different.
But you have to see on the other side how many money they put in their office for patent, for lawyers and all such things.
Of course, it's payouts, yeah. Based upon America. In Europe, it's totally different system actually. In Europe used to be the education supposed to be free. Therefore, even professors cannot ask the students to buy a textbook. Used to be, but not anymore. It's slightly changing, right? They start charging tuition for the students, but they're changing. Changing world actually. Any questions, comment? Please. Okay, microphone, please.
안녕하십니까. 저는 홍익대학교 교육학과에 재학 중인 조휘산이라는 학생입니다. 안한 교수님께 질문이 있습니다. 마지막에 말씀하신 대학의 존재 이유는 개개인의 개념이고 스스로의 무지를 고백할 수 있는 겸손함을 교육해야 한다고 하셨습니다. 저는 이 점에 대학 초년생으로서 매우 감명을 받았는데요. 그러나 이것은 현재 취직 위주의 교육과 그리고 기업의 요구를 대학 교육과정의 중심에 둔다면 잊혀지기 쉬운 그런 대학 본래의 목적이라고 생각합니다. 그리하여 제 질문은 교수님의 학교 혹은 교수님께서는 어떤 교육과정으로 이 같은 교육 본래의 의미가 깃든 공학교육을 시도하고 계십니까?
Please finish this question. Still going on, okay.
Well, I'll answer that. Basically, engineering education has three components. It has a knowledge component, it has a know-how component, and a character component. The knowledge component again has four parts to it. One part is what is called the invariant core. These are the principles. That are the fundamentals that the university teaches. So that part, no industry has influence on it directly. It has to do with the fundamental principles on which all knowledge is based. Then there is empirical knowledge. That is, you deal with individual systems. For example, for some time silicon was the most important material to find out properties of silicon and all that. There, the R&D in the industry often comes up with property measurements that you don't have. So you can have cooperation in that regard. The third component is changing tools. The computer is the most obvious tool, but there are software programs that are written that are very powerful in design. For example, this morning there was talk about General Motors running a program with PACE. But these are specific tools which are designed for an industry. These tools are very useful. You must teach a bit of it in the university, but it will be only a small fraction so that your students are not unaware of this. The last component is changing applications. That is where the industry has an important role to play because there are applications keep changing and the university should expose its students to these applications. But you see, the fundamentals are the most important component. If I teach the fundamentals, the student can do in the industry, can do very well in the industry. So the important thing is to teach the student to learn. So that's the most important part. The character component again is part of the university's business. University has to build character in students so that they will stand up to what is right, regardless of what the industry does or industry does not do. So you must play the role of a neutral conscience keeper. If there is an issue coming up on environment, they must be able to say, this university has a good track record, they will be able to speak up for the right thing. So you have to build that image, and it's done slowly over a period of time. And if you look at higher education anywhere in the world, including the US, 90% of the money comes from the government. Even for MIT, it's supposed to come from industry and other places, but it will come from government labs, and from various other ways through the government, because when the industry pays you for research in the university, they get a tax concession. So part of the money would have gone to the government, but that's being cycled to the university. So eventually you will find 90% of support for education comes from the government. So my feeling is the industry cannot demand more from the university in terms of training. Training has to be done by individual industries.
Yeah, I'm sure they are living in paradise. They are living in totally different circumstances.
Yeah, I think it's possible that what I pursue may turn out to be wrong, but as long as I sincerely pursue it, the only place you can pursue research and knowledge without any ties is the university.
Okay, can I ask you picky questions? I mean, IIT is the best student in India, I mean, maybe best student in the Asian region, and you usually send your students to States or other country for a year. They never return. How you can survive there?
No, let me explain this. First of all, the world is shrinking. Right now we have a reverse brain drain. We have people coming from the US to work in India. India is a growing economy. But let me explain this. Our students do go abroad. Only 1/3 of our students go abroad. Out of that, 1/3 come back. Okay? But it takes both brain and heart to serve India. So if the student's brain is in the US and his heart is here, it's no use. If his brain is here and the heart is there, it's no use. So we have enough brains left in India all the time. Brain drain is not an issue for India, because we have enough brains left all the time.
Even you don't have any trouble to recruit good students.
We have no problem at all. We have enough bright students left. So that's not an issue at all. And if US takes a few, it doesn't matter. They also come back.
Yes, I'm glad you are living in paradise. How about Achen? You try to recruit good people from the Asian and Pacific region, right?
Yes, we do. We now have, out of our 30,000 students, it's roughly 6,000 students from abroad, mainly from Europe, but I think roughly 2,000 from Asia. And but most of them go back, and I think this is the right way, just to have the education there, to serve for some time in companies, to get the experience for international working companies, and then going back. And this is an important point. There's no brain drain there.
Okay. Any question? Okay, please. Yeah. Oh, okay. You go first.
Yeah. Let me just comment on that about government support things. In Korea, I think about more than 80% are private universities. And then they are supported by government only in 3 or 4% of the total budget of the year. And yet, if you look at Japan, Waseda University is supported by government about 13 or 14% each year. And still, the President Shirai wrote a big article on the Mainichi Shimbun a few weeks ago that they are urgently need the government support for the university. And so I think at this moment the most private university representatives here, I think most get together to say something to the government to support, because President Ananth just mentioned that eventually 90% of all research funds from government somehow, even in MIT. So I think this is very interesting.
I think it's only for research money, right? I'm sure there are some government people in here, but I'll give you a chance to talk. Any questions, please?
안녕하십니까. 저는 글로벌 라이너스 캐피탈의 대표를 맡고 있는 이양성이라고 합니다. 트랙 A의 마지막 세션을 공대를 나오신 총장님들과 또 교수님들이 장식을 해주셔서 대단히 의미 있다고 생각을 합니다. 특히 두 분 총장님께 아헨 공대와 마드라스 IT 대학 총장님께 여쭙고 싶습니다. 공대생들에게 철학은 어느 정도의 중요성을 갖는다고 생각하시는지, 그리고 과연 그런 철학 교육을 커리큘럼상에 가지고 계신지 여쭙고 싶습니다.
Mr. Ananth, first, please.
Well, I think philosophy is absolutely important for all education. But we don't have a formal philosophy course for students separately. We have philosophy as an elective. Our undergraduate students take about 12 credits of humanities. And out of that they can choose philosophy. In addition, they have 6 credits of free electives in which they can choose philosophy. We also have, in addition, I think character building is very, very important. So we have what is called a reflections, a group called reflections, in which we discuss ethical issues. One of the problems has been that the West has dominated the East so much that we seem to forget that we have a culture of our own. We seem to forget our own background. So we have a lot of discussions on ethical issues. Broadly we may agree, but the approach is different. So we have discussions. For example, I have personally talked in that forum, and we have 400 students voluntarily attending the lecture. So this is not uncommon. We have these, and we take these topics like ethics and freedom. We talk about the Indian concept of dharma. Dharma is what is right. But dharma cannot be translated in one word, because very often you have words in English that require a whole paragraph in our vernacular. Similarly, words in our language that require a whole paragraph of explanation in the West. And I think these concepts will be lost completely. And this has been the guiding principle for our existence. And we have 10,000 years of civilization, at least 5,000 years of recorded civilization. So we have to capture this. So we do this informally through many extracurricular activities. But I don't have a full-fledged philosophy book.
Okay, I mean, after him.
It's similar at our university. That's elective, but we do have full professor for philosophy, just to give different aspects in seminars. For example, together with engineers, we have one chair, for example, for practice philosophy, and I think the problem of ethics is one of the major issues in engineering. Engineers try to do whatever they can do without asking often if it's necessary, if it's good for the people or whatever. Therefore, this is one of the points. But we have another part, and including not only philosophy but also religion, in some kind of what we call ring lectures from different faculties in an open lecture open for all students on different issues, like, for example, mathematics and religion, or mathematics and philosophy, and things like that. It's, voluntarily, but it's very much accepted by the students.
Let me remind you, because Rauhut is not an engineer, he's mathematician. But he's the president of engineering school. Professor Kim? President of Handong University.
Yeah. My name is Young Kim. I'm the president of Handong Global Universities. Thank you for your all excellent talk. This is not discussion, I'm just comments. And the purpose of the higher education, not only for transferring comprehensive knowledges. It should be more whole persons. And in the past industrial ages, and the main asset and economic prosperity was capitals or material things. So many people think people are only material balance, the physical body. But actually, human beings not just more than the materials. We are consisting of these physical bodies, mental intelligence, and soul and spirit. So whole person education is very important for leadership. I think in the future, in our higher educations, we have to cultivate whole persons, like combination of the intellectuals, moral and scriptures. And character education like the honesty, integrity is very important in the next, like in the 21st century. Because 21st century is really a network. Network is based on trust and intellectual, trust and honesty. So finding new knowledge through research and trusted knowledge are very important, but not sufficient. So we have to educate character development for future leaders. Just not question, just comment.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Questions? Please. Okay, comment. Please identify yourself.
My name is Krishan Khanna from India, from a foundation called iWatch in Bombay. Actually, I'm an old student of IIT. The first IIT was started in 1951. At that time, we had a batch of 400 students, the first few batches, and we had about 40,000 applicants. So we thought that over the years, as the IITs would expand, because now we have 7 IITs in India. So we thought that with time, this would get diluted, and we always felt that things were very cruel for our batch, But I can tell you that today, about 600,000 students apply, even today, for these IITs, and the selection rate is only 1.1% or 1.2%. So 98.8 to 98.9% students are rejected. So I think it's a very unique situation where I think this is the only university or institution of its type where this sort of selection has been maintained, and in fact the top 20% get admission anywhere in the world.
So I was told Professor Ananth, still in India, still the engineering, science and engineering is the most favorite area for high school graduate. I think they are still lucky. Any government people, Korean government, from the Ministry of Education to answer about all those things about crazy here? No? Oh, okay. Okay.
I'm not just a government people, just a kind of, actually. My name is Dae-Jun Hwang, the president of CARES taking care of the education informatization, primary and secondary school, as well as universities. But my question is, but I have the same question to Ananth and Rauhut.
Okay.
What kind of, actually, keeping good quality is the very core of the success of the higher education in all of the world. So in terms of that, I'm going to raise my question. What would be, or what do you have any kind of special approach or measure for encouraging your faculty member to be much more, to keep global competitiveness? Okay? What kind of strategies and policies to encourage your faculty member to keep up with a global standard? And but comment to Professor Lee. Actually, you mentioned about encouraging, actually promotion of international relationship among your HEI member universities. As far as I know, and I mentioned on e-learning. So e-learning will give you or give your member universities much more freedom to keep in touch with their frequent and actually flexible way. What do you think about utilization of the learning for promotion of international relationship with among actually the member universities? That's my comment.
If I right understand you are asking what do we do, what is the strategy to keep the staff members on track of high quality in teaching and research?
Yes, in terms of the global competitiveness.
Kind of strategy.
Yeah. Well, one of the points is, our professors are fully paid the whole year, but every 4 years they get a fully paid sabbatical where they can go wherever they want in the world. And many of the professors go abroad to US or Australia or Korea or wherever for half a year to get in acquaintance with the different cultures and the research which is done there. Then we have for teaching, for example, internal incentives. For example, some special award for the best teacher. Then they get special money for teaching, for improving their teaching abilities. And we offer them what we call a seminar for refreshment of teaching abilities. So with a professional company from outside who is experienced in, for example, give better presentations and so on. Not really multimedia only, that's not the way to act with the students, but just to improve if some of the activities are not in a real good shape. On the other hand, we rely very heavily on the internal motivation of researchers and teachers to do their very best for the students and for the society. So in many cases, I think there is no need really to push them, they do it by themselves.
Are they using English in the lecture class?
Well, it's different. Just as I said, we have some total English talk programs, but in some, I myself, for example, mathematics, I used 20 years ago the first 5 minutes in a lecture just to repeat the last lecture in English and then switch to German. And now in, for example, computer science, our professor delivered about 30% of their lectures in English, the rest in German, because we need to keep our own language for our own students, because some of the things you can only, find out in your native language, not in a foreign one.
Thank you. Professor Ananth?
Okay, again, as far as retaining faculty is concerned, I think it's primarily by inner motivation. First of all, we pick our students with great care, we pick our faculty with even greater care, and we have complete freedom. I must say the government of India, the ministry, gives me a block grant, a certain amount of money, and I can spend it exactly as I please. They don't interfere with internal spending. But there is one constraint, the salaries are fixed. I cannot give a better professor more money. So as far as we are concerned, they stay there because of their own motivation and because of the company they have. I must say that our salaries are not indicative of the conditions of life, because we also give them housing at very low expense. So they get housing inside a campus. Our IIT happens to be located in a forest reserve. So we have 620 acres of forest reserve, inside which all the professors stay. Almost all professors stay in the houses. So they have some advantages. The main advantages are the students, the research facilities, and we have practically no loss of faculty at all. We've lost about 1% of our faculty, maximum in any given year, if that. In fact, not even a year. Last 5 years, we've lost 1%.
Okay. Professor Lee, talk about that.
Well, when we exchange people, I think we can typologize into two different categories. One, physical exchange, and the other one can be digital exchange. So when we talk about exchange programs, usually we talk about physical things. But as the President, you mentioned that I think a digital exchange can become a good medium for universities, particularly when you exchange students and also faculty. The e-learning can become a good medium for exchanging these two groups of the people. But the only problem of the e-learning exchange program can be a language. So that must be in English. And then in Asia, there are not many countries use English as the first language, so that could become a little problem. And also another problem can be when you set up the whole system, that requires a lot of money. So if you have a good idea on that, maybe you can come to our API next Waseda University conference, and then you give us good ideas. Thank you. Oh, I see. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think before I conclude this session, any further questions or comments from the board? Okay, now this should be the last question. It's already 15 minutes. Yes. The lady over there.
My name is Luisera. I'm a Ulsan University student. I majored in sociology. I'd like to questions to President Doo-Hee. So I agree with your, you said that the Asia Pacific students' network problems. So I agree with your opinions. I have a question. How about thinking the most among the Asia Pacific student difference? For example, what are difference between Korean students and Chinese students or Chinese students?
Well, I didn't study in many different countries, but I happened to become honorary professor in Lenin University in Beijing, and I could have many visits to universities in China and different countries and so on. Well, from my experience, I think whole Asian university students are very disciplined, and they are very much well motivated, and also they are very well talented. So I believe that any students in Korea, if they are maybe top about 10%, they can go to Harvard. They are well qualified to enter that. I believe so. But the problem is that the Asian country students are lack of communication skills, particularly English and other languages, so that they cannot express their own opinions to the world. So, for example, in Korea, if you are very good at mathematics and then you can go to Hana Bank, but you cannot go to World Bank. That's the problem. That's the same to many different countries in Asia. And also, Asian country students are mostly lack of other cultural experiences. So that they are very much inner-centered, and so that they don't appreciate other cultural activities and students, and so they're afraid of meeting other people in different social situations. So, to me, Asian university students are very well qualified, yet they need to train themselves, particularly in communication skills and international different cultural experiences.
Okay, thank you very much. I think it concluded the session. Actually, it's concluded this conference, and thank you very much for your participation at this late Friday evening. Have a good weekend. Thank you very much.